All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a look at Notes 9.2, which is on our first of 2 days of discussing two-way tables. So let's see what it says. The two-way table represents frequencies for two sets of blank or blank, such as gender, sport, flavor, color, or shape. So remember we talked about the fact that gender, sport, flavor, color, or shape are all examples of qualitative or categorical data because they are data values that are written as descriptions as opposed to numbers. So what we're going to say right here is categorical data, or another word for categorical that we can use is qualitative data. Okay, so let's take a look at what's written down underneath right here. So if you look and see, it says superheroes have been popular characters in movies, television, books, and comics for many generations. Superman was one of the most popular series in the 1950s, while Batman was a top-rated series in the 1960s. Each of these characters was also popular in movies released from 1990 to 2013. Other notable characters portrayed in movies over the last several decades include Captain America, She-Ra, and the Fantastic Four. So what is special about a superhero? Is there a special superhero power that makes these characters particularly popular? Well, high school students in the United States were invited to complete an online survey in 2010. Part of the survey included questions about superhero powers. More than 1,000 students responded to this survey that included a question about a student's most favorite superpower. 450, this is really important right here, of the completed surveys were randomly selected. A rather confusing breakdown of the data by gender was compiled from the 450 surveys. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of information. This should be a fifth bullet. And we're going to read through everything that it says in these 5 pieces of information in a second. But question number 1 says to complete the table below by determining a frequency count for each cell based on the summarized data. So let's read the first thing that the first piece of information that we are given. All right, so let's take a look at the first piece of information. 100 students indicated that their favorite superpower was to fly. So if you look at this chart right here, everything that we have going on here is how we can organize our information. So this is to fly. So the total number of people who said to fly will go in this section right here. Now, these 2 boxes represent the people who are females that chose to fly and males that chose to fly, okay? So this is the total of all the favorite superpowers right here. And then on the side right here, this is the total of females and males that chose all their different superpowers. So it says that 100 students indicated their favorite power was to fly. So that means that there was a total of 100 people that chose to fly. And 49 of those students were females. So 49 of the students who chose to fly were females. So now based on that, I can conclude that 100 minus 49, which is equal to 51 students, right here, were males that chose invisibility. So I'm going to write 100 minus 49 equals 51. So that's what I have in this section right here. Okay. Next piece of information that we have is that 131 students selected the power to freeze time as their favorite power. So I'm going to say 131 goes into the total for freeze time, and 71 of those were males. So to figure out how many were females, all I have to do is 131 minus 71, which gives me 60 females chose freeze time as their favorite. Next, we have 75 students selected invisibility as their favorite power. So I'll put 75 right in this box right here, and 48 were females. So that means I can just subtract 48 from 75 to figure out how many were males. And when you do that subtraction, you'll end up getting 27. All right, and then the next piece of information we have is the 26 students that indicated super strength as their favorite power. So I'll put 26 right here. 25 were males, and then subtract 25 from 26. That means that 1 female chose that. And then our last piece of information we have here is 118 students indicated telepathy as their favorite power. So I'm going to put 118 right here, and 70 of those students were females, so I can put 70 right here, and then just do 118 minus 70, which gives me 48 students right here were males that chose telepathy as their favorite superpower.
All right, so now it's asking us to find the total right here. So the total number of females. Well, to figure that out, I have to add up all of the students that I have that were females that gave us all these different responses. So to figure that out, I'm going to add 49 plus 60 plus 48 plus 1 plus, we have 70 right here, plus 70, so we end up getting 228 as our answer right here. So there are 228 females altogether. And then to figure out how many males there were, same thing, you're going to add 51 plus 71 plus 27 plus 25 plus 48, press enter, you've got 222 males. Okay, so then I have to figure out my total of everybody that was surveyed. So I've got 228 plus 222, which gives me 450, okay? Or I could add up all of these totals right here, 100, 130, 175, 26, and 118. So let's try it. 100 plus 131 plus 75 plus 26 plus 118. You also end up getting 450. So 450 is the answer that works. And that should make sense to you anyways because 450 surveys were chosen, okay? All right, so question number 2 says complete the table below by determining the relative frequency count for each cell based on the summarized data that we have in question number 1. So if you notice for females who chose to fly, we did 49 right here out of 450 because 49 females out of everybody chose to fly. So there are 49 people out of everyone that was surveyed were females who chose to fly. So that means that 0.109 or about 10.9% of everybody that gave an answer were females that chose to fly. Okay, so now let's figure this out for our males. Well, there were 51 males that chose to fly out of 450. And then round that approximately to what our answer should be. So let's divide it. 51 divided by 450. 51 divided by 450. You end up getting approximately 0.113. So that means that approximately 11.3% of everybody surveyed were males that chose to fly. And then there were 100 people altogether surveyed out of 450. So I want to figure out how many people altogether, what percentage of people altogether chose to fly. So 100 out of 450, you get 0.222. So we'll write that out, 0.222, which means about 22% of people who were surveyed chose to fly. Males, females, it doesn't matter. 22% of everybody that was surveyed chose to fly. Okay, let's try one more column together and then hopefully you'll be okay for the rest of these to do on your own. So for freeze time that were females that chose freeze time, there were 60 people out of 450 people. So when you divide that out, 60 divided by 450, you end up getting 0.133. So this right here is 0.133. So that means about 13% of everybody were females that chose freeze time. And then let's figure it out for males. So it's 71 out of 450, okay? So that's approximately equal to, let's figure this out, 71 out of 450, you should end up getting 0.158 because there's a 7 that comes after it, we got to round it. So 0.158, we get 15.8% of everybody that was surveyed were males that chose freeze time as their answer. And then here, 29.1% of everyone were people who chose freeze time. So 29% of all the surveyed answers ended up getting freeze time as their answer. So what I want you to do right now is fill in the rest of the missing boxes here and then come back and compare with me to see how you did. All right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, so these are the answers that you should have gotten. Please go through and double check to make sure that everything is correct. Press pause if you need to. And what we're going to do is we are going to confirm that this is correct. So see the female answers. You've got 0.109, 0.133, 0.107, 0.002, 0.156. They should all add up to 0.507. So let's make sure that really happens. So I'm just adding up all of the answers in my first row. And I end up getting 0.507, okay? And then let's check our answers in the bottom row. So in the bottom row, we got 0.222 plus 0.291 plus 0.167 plus 0.058 plus 0.262. I'm just adding up all of these numbers right here. And you should get a whole, because this all should add up to a whole percentage. This should have been 1 here because it's your total amount. It's 100%. And then let's check our column right here, 0.507. I'm going to add 0.507 plus 0.493, and you should also get 1 right here, okay? Make sure you write down any questions you might have, and I hope you have a wonderful day.